My name is Roes, and I'm the owner of Eagle Christian Tours. We started Eagle Christian Tours in 2012 after a long stint for me in the ministry. I was working at a church and I inherited the seniors ministry, who had a bus and a group that traveled. And while I was working with that group, one day my wife said, hey, you know, when we retire, we ought to give this a shot. So we did. I had the opportunity to retire a little bit early, and we decided we would buy one bus, and my wife and I would just do tours more as a hobby business than anything. We were going to give it a shot, and 6 years later, we're running 21 buses and are doing charter work all over the United States, and have grown in ways that we never thought was possible. I bought my first Prevost bus from Udine Burke up at Burke Christian Tours in North Carolina, and we brought that bus back and began to run that bus, and our customers just absolutely loved it. I remember going out to Oklahoma City and meeting with Jeff Arnsdorf of Village Bus, who owns over 50 Prevosts, and he spent a lot of time with me talking the ins and outs, the things that they really loved about the bus, how well they were built, how rugged they were over time. Took me out and showed me several buses that he had that were 15 years old, 16 years old, 18 years old, and the buses still looked fantastic. They were still in the fleet, running every day, making money for the company. We began to put together what we call our refurb model, where we could find a bus that was in our bracket for an owner. How much are we going to spend out? What the cost would be to operate that bus? Who the customer was going to be that we would be putting in that bus? And then we would find the right unit for them, and then bring that bus to our own shop, and we would refurb the bus, first underneath, and then interior wise, and then finally body and paint, and get the bus in pristine condition.
Our refurb model, we take an older unit and we bring it back to life. We repaint it, we put new seats and seat covers, new fabrics throughout on the sides and in the roof. And one of the things that makes the refurb model work is just getting access to parts, which Prevost has. We can always get parts, but two, the bus itself just has to last long enough to have a second life. And that's the difference for Prevost, is that we know when we buy a bus that's 10 years old, 15 years old, the bus still has a ton of life left in it. The way it was built to begin with allows it to have a second life through us. We've had several manufacturers come in, allow us to use their brand new buses for a week, and we find that every time that just doesn't match up. When we send the bus out, everything just has to work. And what's nice is the Prevost, you can kind of put your name on it, as we do, and you can be really proud of what you're sending out. But you also just know reliability, it's going to work. And that's the key thing. And then if something happens, we make one phone call, and the service on their end is what allows us to create that customer service level.
We do love and care for people. That's our priority one. And we love and care for people by transporting them safely wherever they need to go and bringing them home safely from wherever they've been. And so Prevost fits into that for us, because they're probably the most respected company in the industry. They have a sterling reputation of building a solid, strong, robust, dependable motor coach. People have a sense of awe or a sense of, wow, this is really nice. So So they have that Rolls Royce kind of feel. People often say a Prevost is the Rolls Royce of buses. So Prevost has built that reputation, they have that name, and people feel good about riding it. That fits hand in glove with our model of caring for people, respecting them, treating them with dignity, and giving them the absolute best service we can possibly give them.